One of the questions that I've gotten a few now, so just wanted to start addressing some of them and making some content, some discussion content. So the one that I wanted to start with is about revenge work. So the question says, I've done a lot of research, but it's all just research. It all leads to dark, and while I'm totally okay with it, is there spells for softly defending oneself from someone consistently creating beef with you? And you want to be adult about it and excommunicate them with no malice, but then they get mad that I don't react till they turn it up a notch. Like, bitch, I gave you a chance to walk away, now what? I wish I could snap my fingers and just make them pay. So I guess my question put into words that I'm maybe not saying is there a way to make them pay? I know we don't choose violence, but devil emoji. And for that, I am going to say that this is you could, in these situations, like, I'm not a love and light person at all. I might say it once in a while because I do operate out of love, and I do feel like we need to have light in the world, just like we need to have dark. I mean, you have to have a balance. But I don't typically like revenge work, because revenge work means that you are giving power to an outcome, and that is something that we want to try and avoid. The ideal, there's three things you can do in this situation. So one would be protection work. That stabilizes yourself. It gives you a good grounded base, like good foundation. That's all wonderful. You can do revenge work, but again, that attaches you to outcome, and you have emotional entanglement with that, also energetic entanglement. So I really never recommend revenge work, because it keeps you always connected to that person, always engaged with that person, always kind of checking in to see what is going on, because your spell depends on a specific outcome. What I would do in this situation is justice spells, because what it does, a justice spell, you can completely detach from it. All you're doing is neutralizing what comes to you, reflecting it back to that particular person or a group of people. There's no dramatics, there's no anger. It's just, you're gonna do you. Anything that's sent your way. Now, some of it is like, I guess you can do it kind of like a mirror spell, like whatever sent to you is sent back. So they just have to deal with whatever they're sending out. If you want, you can neutralize it. That is also an option. So if you are doing a justice spell, like, you are just basically reflecting back whatever they're sending to you. If you want to do that, you don't have to reflect back exactly what they're sending to you. You can just really just say, like, a spell to, like, for them to get whatever they have coming to them. Because in these situations, you think you want justice, but you really don't. You want to feel validated through revenge, and it's not healthy at all. When this individual said that they were, they had disengaged, they excommunicated this person, and then the person got mad, so they kicked it up a notch. That's when she should have just left it, because it was working. That did, like, setting that boundary and cutting off that connection worked. So what that other person on the other end was feeling was being removed from that person's energetic field. If you are letting somebody suck you back in, you are giving them power over you. So basically, you, by acknowledging that she's kicked it up a notch, unless she is at your door, or she is harassing you on a daily basis, like, one, there's only so much spell work will do. At some point, you may just have to get the police involved if it has become a situation where she is, you are being stalked, you are being harassed, you are being, assaulted. Like, yes, you can do some stuff with spell work and intention and sending energetic, projections, but a lot of the times that does take time. If you are in imminent danger, you want to just contact your authorities and have this person arrested, or whatever it is that it's going to be. So again, my recommendation at this point, protection work, because you want to stabilize yourself, and then avoid the revenge work, because that just keeps you energetically entangled. I would go with a justice spell. That is definitely, like, because you just let natural consequences happen to that person. You leave them in the box that they've put themselves in. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's not up to you to decide those things. So you remove yourself from being attached to the outcome. You remove access to yourself by setting a clear boundary. And you are protecting yourself by shielding, whatever it is that you do to protect yourself, whatever grounding techniques that you use, that's going to be on you. It's going to be, for the individual. So I would suggest an energetic cleansing, doing a cord cutting, and setting a protective barrier around yourself. And by that, I also include property, vehicle, workspace, anything like that. I keep a black mirror that, this little one, I had a large one when I was in the shop. That one is currently in storage. So while I'm on the road, I just have this little small one. And I keep this black mirror with me. It is always charged for reflective work. So I don't scry with this. Typically, this piece of obsidian holds, one purpose and one purpose only, and that is anything that is sent to me, it gets reflected back to the person sending. With a caveat, anytime my name is mentioned, anytime that somebody sends something to me that gets reflected back, I gain from it. So I gain the energy that is being sent along with it. I basically, like, pull the intent. It's kind of like filtering. So I filter out the negative or the ill will that they are sending to me. I gather that, and then I transmute that. I can alchemize that energy into bringing new clients, putting that out there. So, like, if they are saying, some like BS stuff, whatever, like, oh, Erin's a fake, she doesn't really read tarot, or she's not, whatever, she doesn't do Reiki, or she's not doing whatever they, whatever it is that they're saying. Just amplifying my name like that puts it out there. The more people that hear my name, the more clients I'm going to receive, because they're going to be interested, and they're going to come and see what I'm about. And I have pulled so many people in, and I kid you not, I had so many people come into the shop because other people in the spiritual community and enterprise were, talking poorly about me. People came into the shop because they heard about the shop and they wanted to see what it was about, and they're like, oh my God, this is such a great shop. You're such a nice person. You're whatever. You actually know what you're talking about. So that is the kind of stuff that I would recommend, is that when you are, don't go down to their level. You don't need to talk shit about anybody. You don't need to send bad stuff out to anybody, because as long as you're doing the work, like the justice work, the scales are going to weigh out the way they're supposed to weigh out. If you are walking with a fairly clean slate, if you haven't done this person wrong, there's nothing for you to worry about. This person is going to basically fuck themselves, just with how they are operating. So I would do, and like, so again, just to, I know I'm rambling, in this situation, when somebody is like coming after you, it's really not a spiritual attack. Like, that's the first thing that you need to recognize, is that this is not a spiritual attack. They may frame it like it is. Excuse me. It's not a spiritual attack. When people are coming after you, you need to recognize it for what it is. They are a human being who is very dysregulated, who is looking for engagement because they probably have, and not that trauma is an excuse, but they probably have stuff that they have just shoved down that, they have not dealt with. They don't know how to deal with it. They're not taking the steps. Like, they enjoy living in that victimhood. There are so many people, especially in Southern Alabama, there are so many people in the spiritual community who just use spiritual bypassing. They use spirituality as like a way to not address issues. They're like, oh, well, this is like divine plan, so I don't have to do anything. It's not me. I don't have to fix this. If this is going on, it's not because of me or anything I'm doing. It has nothing to do with my old behaviors. I'm just gonna sit in this mindset and not change anything. Or it's hard, it's scary, but because it is hard and scary, but they don't want to deal with that. They just want to just keep manifesting abundance, or manifesting inner peace, when when they don't understand the process that goes with it. Manifesting inner peace, manifesting justice, manifesting all this stuff has nothing to do with the universe kind of just handing it to you. What the universe does is hands you these triggers. It hands you, this chaos to give you the opportunity to develop skills. It's never going to just gift you anything. You have to develop the skills to cope and achieve your own inner peace, because the only time you're going to get through something is when you do the work yourself, right? So for this, you don't want the revenge work at all. You don't need to get back at somebody. You don't need to be tied up energetically with somebody and entangled like that. It just it's a waste of your own energy, and it's a waste of your time. Even if you think you are even if you think that you are disengaging, the fact that you are giving it any energy or any thought at all shows that you are not disengaging. Sorry, my tree is messed up. So in this situation, definitely I would set that boundary. When you do your cord cutting, set the boundary. You're no longer available for projection. You're no longer available for this person's chaos. You're no longer available for this person's attempts to pull you out of alignment. If you feel like you are on your path, then you are, or at least if you are working towards being aligned with what your true soul purpose is. You have to do this though with no anger in your heart, because you do have to realize that this is just a severely dysregulated person. A lot of these witches, or anyone like that, they're envious. That envy comes from fear. It comes from a mindset of lack and scarcity. They're always afraid that they're never going to have enough. A lot of these things just come down to fear, because they don't truly believe that they're worthy. Deep down, they don't truly believe that they are worthy of the things that they want. So they project, they trash you, trash your name, try and, you know, attack your character. And really it's because they don't want people to see the real you. They don't want people to know that it's not about the optics, it's not about the aesthetic, it's not about, what you can regurgitate that you heard on TikTok. This is about just being real and being authentic, and there's nothing that a person can say. Like if you tell somebody everything, like I always say, like I don't anything I say about a person, I'll say to their face. That way no one can hold anything against me, right? I am very much me. I'm not gonna hide who I am. If I think a person is, deep in programming because, they're so hard-lined in their religious beliefs or their political beliefs or, anything like that, their fitness and nutrition, if you are so hard-lined that you can only see one point of view and not actually even take into consideration someone else's point of view, you are so deep in subconscious programming that I don't even engage with those people because it's not worth it. Nothing you will say will ever fix it. So when someone is coming after you, it doesn't matter what you say. Nothing is going to change how they feel about you. They have to do their own work. And until they start healing, I mean, you could take the love and light route and just hope and sound like you hope that they heal the issues that they have, that are affecting them. But if you don't want to give them that much care and consideration, then just reflect back anything that, they're sending to you. It's going right back at them. You can give it 3 times, it can be 7-fold, it can be 10-fold, whatever. It can be exactly, an exact mirror of what they're sending your way if you want them to feel any sort of pain. Just know that when you do those things, while you are not necessarily creating a karmic debt of any sort because you're not wishing ill on them, you could be causing a little bit of entanglement, just because you're keeping that connection open. So it's gonna really be up to you, but I would definitely recommend cord cutting, setting an energetic boundary, and then sorry for the message coming in. Do your mirror work, your return to sender, and then actually take the steps to remove yourself from that situation. If you have them on social media, block them. And don't do the block, unblock, block, unblock. I did that for a while. It's stupid. So, learn from my childish moves. But yeah, just block them. Delete their contact, block them on your phone. If it's somebody that you work with and you can't just totally avoid them, just disengage. Always have another coworker present. Never do anything on your own with that person. Keep everything as, if you have to engage with them, keep everything on the up and up, and always have somebody there with you, or do it in a place where, especially if it's at work and they're causing trouble for you at work, always do it in a place where there's a camera, or there's some sort of surveillance, or someone's monitoring something, so you can pull up cameras, and if they have audio feed, whatever, you can, really just set yourself up safely. So you need to make sure you remove access, that you are not engaging. Doesn't matter if she's escalating, still don't engage. It's gonna, and she'll probably escalate again because she's bothered by the fact that you're not bothered. You really have to detach from that person. Once you do that cord cutting, keep it. You may have to, cord cuttings are not permanent. I don't care what anyone tells you. You can get into contract dissolutions when you go into the Akashic records, and you dissolve a contract on a soul level, most of the time, like, that's a lot of work for someone that's probably not. I mean, I would save those things for deeper connections, like parental connections, siblings, you know, relationships, things like that. If it's just coworker, somebody that is kind of a casual in your life, I would just do your cord cutting. When they don't have access to your energy, they'll realize it and they'll try and connect, do another cord cutting. It doesn't take very much, especially if you don't, get the candles and do all that, and you just do an energetic cord cutting, which if you don't need the visualization of a candle, it works just as well. Because if you're not completely blocking access for that person to you, then it doesn't matter. Any ritual is gonna fail. Like, there's just, like, any spell work, any ritual work, that's gonna fail if you haven't done everything you can on your part. So, in these situations, yes, like, I can completely understand, like, I understand why it's frustrating and why you want to, but they're escalating because you've stopped feeding it. So you need to continue to not feed that. You need to starve that. Eventually, when as you're starving it, when that is starved and you've cut that energetic connection, everything will just kind of eventually fade out. They will find a new target because they no longer are getting the feedback from you. So that is super important, to make sure that you are starving that connection. And because punishment is not the goal in these situations. If it is, then you are operating from the wrong place, and anything that you do is going to come back negatively on you. If it isn't a situation where there has been, like, significant physical or emotional trauma being done, like, I mean, this person was, like, not assaulted you, or someone, like, basically, the outcome we're looking for is peace, not punishment. So if you are looking for punishment, then that is your ego, and you need to step away from that, and you need to reevaluate what's going on in your life that you need to seek revenge. Because you don't want to, yes, we can choose violence. We can always choose violence, but the real power is not, because reacting, whether that violence is emotional or physical, like, there's consequences. Even if you feel justified or validated, if you choose to have a violent emotional explosion and you blow up and lose your shit on this person, depending on where you are, what's going on, there's always going to be, I mean, not everyone believes in the threefold law. I do, and not in the sense that, like, if you punch someone, it's going to come back to you, and you're going to get punched in the face 3 times harder. I just feel like it comes back in threes. Like, there's an emotional, there's a spiritual, and there's a physical, repercussion that's going to come. So if you punch somebody in the face, your hand's going to hurt. That's your physical repercussion, because you've hurt them, but you've probably hurt yourself. The spiritual is that you now have lowered yourself energetically. You are in this place of just gross energy where you've given your power away, all of this stuff. And then emotionally, you're upset, you're not thinking clearly, now your hand's hurting, like, everything is wrong. It depends on where you are. That can, like, even spread out more. So, you could end up being charged with assault, you could lose your job, you could, like, there's so many things that ripples out if you aren't in complete control. So yeah, we can choose violence, but should we? Never. Like, and it's not about being weak. If you are able to not choose violence, you are much stronger than the person who cannot control their emotions and reacts that way. Even if you can even get into it a little bit deeper if you look on, if you look more at, like, some of the Eastern traditions, they will say that you build karmic debt even just thinking about something, because your thoughts will eventually manifest into physical. But if you were to take somebody's life, right? It was out of, like, it was completely just unplanned. It was just out of, you walked in and there was a fight and something happened, things escalated, and you ended up taking someone's life. Karmically, as long as it's not unplanned and you've never had any thoughts about this, like, that is only one thing you have to atone for. And you can atone for that in many, many ways. But if you dislike a person and you are keeping a connection to them in whatever manner, and you continually fantasize or think about, plan out what you would do. I mean, in some cultures, they do believe that those actions are just as bad, if not worse, than the physical, because it's not a one and done thing. You are continually taking life in different ways, or even in the same way, and you're fantasizing or doing it the same way. That the act of embodying the thought and the desire to do those things is a lot of the times worse than the physical execution of it in a karmic sense. So really, I know this is very long-winded, but when somebody is really just kind of coming after you, doing dirty, and you feel that it's unjust, do a justice now. As long as you have nothing that's going to come back on you, because there are times when we think that we're completely innocent in this, and we haven't done anything. Usually there's something in there that we are not seeing, and we might be playing a part in this somehow. But if you are confident that there's nothing that's gonna, when it comes time to balance those scales of justice, like, if you're confident that it's gonna fall heavier on their end, whatever it is, whatever is going on, and it's gonna fall in your favor, it's gonna be heavy on them, then do a justice spell. By all means, do a justice spell. Make sure that you are doing everything you can to protect yourself, but I would not. Revenge is not the goal. Revenge should never be the goal. Seeing somebody fall, seeing somebody wishing ill on somebody is just, we should be better than that, just in general. Like, if they're a shitty person, yeah, I hope, I do hope they get what they, whatever is coming to them, I hope they get what they deserve. Whether it's good or bad, and that's even in my reflection spells, like, that is one thing that I always say. I never just focus on the negative. If they are, if they're talking good about me, and when my name comes up, if they are wishing me well, then I hope that goes back to them 10 times stronger. I hope that they get 10 times the amount of blessings that they're wishing on me. I hope that their business succeeds, and everything about their life is just exactly the way they want it to be. If they are speaking good about me, I wish nothing but the best of everything for them. However, if you're going to be talking about me and you are wishing me ill, you are wishing my business to fail, you're wishing my practices to fail, you're wishing my relationships to fail, my friendships, whatever it is, it's always going back to you exactly the way that you tried to dish it out to me. So, there's always that. Like, I always do it both ways. If it's good, you get it all that good. I will send blessings to whoever is wishing me well. If it's bad, well, if I haven't done anything to wrong you, there's nothing that I can really do about that. That's your own dysregulation and dysfunction, and